afternoon, Stitch Roadies. It's going to be one of those days. I hope you're ready for it. It reminds me of that Family Circle cartoon, you know, where the little boy is walking all around, and that's the way I'm kind of feeling today. So I hope you enjoy this. I have some stories to share, some beautiful things that I have received, some finishes, some decisions I've made, some announcements. So hang in there. It's going to be a good time, and I'm glad you're here. My space here where I do a lot of creating is called the Beehive because I'm kind of a busy person. And if you've ever walked in here and you've seen the piles and I'm not a hoarder. I'm not a hoarder person, but I have piles of dreams all over the place. And so I called my stitchy space here the Beehive because it's always buzzing. And we have spent a lot of time this last couple weeks visiting the gardens and planting our pollinator garden. The bees are going to save the world, and they're my peeps. They're my insect to watch them. And we did, even this morning we went to the gardens, and they were just busy. And then we have built our own pollinator garden. So I read all the comments, just so you know. This is going to sound weird, but I do want to be a bee wrangler. In one of the comments there was a notice about becoming a mason bee person in the Pacific Northwest, and I want to do that because it fits right into my life. So yes, I've enjoyed all of the comments. I am pleased to announce, this is just one of several announcements this episode, but I am pleased to announce that there won't be a whip parade. I will talk about my whips as they come up in my mind, but not one of those ones where I'm bringing them all out. Yeah. I've done a lot of struggling about, should I start something? Should I finish something? And Janine, who's the proprietress of Acorns and Threads, told me, start all the things. Yeah, because that's her thing. Start all the things. But one of the parts of my personality is when I'm going to start all the things, or the one thing, the next start, it has to have the appropriate project bag. And so a lot of times I'll shift projects around in project bags to try to get the right project bag. But the project I really wanted to start next was by Maximum Cross Stitch Ellen of Crash Test Dummy fame. Ode to a Good Dog. I bought the pattern and the floss, Roxy floss from Evertote. I really wanted to do that in memory of my sweet Enzo. But I don't have a dog project bag. And Janine says, well, don't you have dog fabric? You know, so far I have not found any. And I decided, wait a minute, I have another Maximum Cross Stitch project that I love that's in progress. So maybe I'll finish that one first, and in the meantime, I'll decide about the appropriate project bag for Ode to a Good Dog. And so I brought this out, and it is in this beautiful Crafty Cory Stitches bag that you can not this exact bag, but Corey does sell her bags through Acorns and Threads, and you can call up and say, I need a Corey bag. They are excellent. However she makes them, they like stand up. They're not floppy. And last time, let's see, this was 2023 when we went to Crash Test Dummies concert. That is right there because that's how I make it appropriate for this project. And this is the There's Always Room at the Table. Yeah. I love stitches that have a sentiment on them that speaks to me, and this one definitely did. So I've been working on this one, and I got the whole inside border stitched, and now I'm working on the red flowers. I love it. I love it. So that moved forward in the queue, as they say. I just love these Corey bags. Okay. I did receive, as I showed you last time, a nice little package filled with wonderful things, including some bee fabric, since we're on the bee theme. And if you go over to my other channel, if you don't know, I have, because, you know, my life isn't complicated enough that I run 2 channels. The other one is about quilting and everything that's in a quilt shop. So embroidery, applique, quilting, all of that kind of stuff. Anything made out of fabric. I was sent a box to Acorns and Threads with all kinds of fun things in it. And 2 of the things was bee fabric. I found this pattern to make coasters. And so I did a tutorial on quilt roadies. So if you're at all interested and you've never been over to Quilt Roadies, please subscribe to that channel. And in the last video, I believe it was the latest one, I did a tutorial on how to make these cute little coasters. And so out of the fabric that was gifted to me, bee fabric, I made these coasters. So there's a set of 4 right there. And then I had ordered some labels, and I put those on the back of the coaster. So beautiful. If I do say so myself, yes. And don't only subscribe over to Quilt Roadies, subscribe here too. Yeah. Continuing on the bee theme, I'm kind of going to go around. I was thinking about my next new start, and my father-in-law, let me see if I can find it here. I have it someplace here. My father-in-law is, he's since passed away, but was an amazing man. He worked for the newspaper. He ran the printing press back when newspapers were, you know, after he got out of the military, he was a print man. And so he traveled all over as he was transferred from it was in Illinois and Monterey and Hawaii, working for the newspaper. But the thing about that man was that he was a crafter. I used to call him a Renaissance man, and that was one of the things that intrigued me about G, was that his father was this Renaissance man, and his father cooked. He actually, I think I might have told you the story already, but he actually bought a wood burning stove that goes on the back of a wagon that the Basque sheep herders used out in eastern Oregon. And he bought that stove and put it on his deck. And he would do canning, he would can jam. Well, one of the things that he won many, many blue ribbons for was his weaving. So he would go out and buy wool from the sheep herder, and he would card it, which, as I understand it, takes all the seeds and messy stuff out of the wool, whatever got trapped in the wool. And then he would get plants, and he would put the wool in hot water with the plants and naturally dye the colors into the yarn. And then he had a big spinning wheel, and I so wish we had that spinning wheel. But as with many families, there was after he died, his wife at the time remarried, and then that husband and that family, and so stuff got lost. We lucked out in terms of that one day we showed up, and the next family was having a garage sale with a lot of his stuff, and so we were able to take home a lot of his weavings, which I treasure. And so someday I hope that I find that spinning wheel. Every time I go to an antique shop and I see one, I just know he would have carved his name into it. I just know he would have. So someday I'm going to find that spinning wheel. It is my hope. But he would spin the wool into yarn, and then he would weave it. He would create these beautiful things that he wove he'd create the patterns. And he won many blue ribbons at the fair for his original designs. And when he was dying of cancer, he taught himself to crochet when he was bedridden. So I've crocheted blankets for my father-in-law. The very first quilt I ever saw was one he made for my older son. Yeah. So here is, I just wanted to show you one of his weavings. So I have this on the arm of a sofa downstairs. So here is, isn't that incredible? But look, wait till you see the back. I gotta fold it over so you see how different that back looks from the front. Isn't that? I know, I just love it. So why am I telling you this? Exactly why am I telling you this? It's because this is the month of his birthday. He'd have been 100 and something. But this was the month of his birthday, and I really wanted to honor him by stitching something. And I fell down a rabbit hole. I had been on a Patreon fast for over a year. And tipped my toe back in the water, the Patreon water, and joined the Artsy Housewife. When I saw this, I thought, I am definitely going to be stitching this next week in honor of my father-in-law. And I'm doing this on the same fabric that I had chosen for the chocolate sampler from Jean Lee at the attic. It's chocolate drizzle. And I have pulled all the DMC that she called for this, and I have it in a bee bag. But the funny part about this, the reason I'm telling you all this is because when I was thinking that I was going to share the story of my father-in-law, I also wanted to show you all of his blue ribbons that I had. And I could have swore they were, I spend a good portion of my day looking for things. That is the existence that I have created. So I'm looking all over, and I have an old star thread case, one of those old ones, and in it are a lot of quilting blue ribbons that I had gotten back in the day, and I could have swore his ribbons were in there, so I'm digging around in there. This is not a drawer I ever get in, and I see a card and a wrapped out of like butcher block paper wrapped package, and I immediately went to that space where I thought, am I such a loser that someone gave me a present and I just put it away and never opened it up? And so I'm opening it up, and I'm like, what the heck? Pitter patter, pitter patter. My girlfriend Robin, she made this and baked it, painted it, baked it. She's a potter. I've showed you many of her pottery. In fact, this is something she made for me. This pot. Isn't it and that plant? Isn't it just a hoot and a half? Oh yeah, and see, if I'm feeling sad on this side, it's sad. So I called her up and I said, what the heck? And she goes, how did you find that? How did you find it? You were supposed to find that till your birthday next month. In October is my birthday. And I said, well, I was looking for Earl's ribbons and I saw this, and for a moment I was like, oh my God, I'm such a loser. I just stuck a present in there and never even opened it up. But she said, well, you told me you were going to turn your laundry room into a beehive room with all bee things. And I said, yes, I am. And so I have it hanging in there. Isn't it? It's so pretty. It's so pretty. Yeah. So that was a convoluted story, let me just tell you. I have been stitching on my designated stitch, which is Women of Honor by Rebel Stitcher. And I did change out, even though I played college tennis, I did take out Billie Jean King's name because I really wanted to put in Susan right there. Let's see, La Flèche Picot, right there. Because I had just stumbled across and in reading, because I am kind of, that's another addiction for me. She was the first Native American woman who went through medical school and opened the first medical clinic on a reservation in Nebraska. Yeah. And I just thought, wow, can you imagine not only to be a woman, but a Native American woman to go through medical school? So I definitely had to put her name in it. And then I decided that I was going to put my initials here, because there's a space for initials here. So my initials and my sister's initials, because this will be a present for her. Because we grew up in a challenging household and we are amazing women. So yeah, so that that designated stitch, it conceivably could be done this week. It just kind of depends on how the world turns, because I am leaving for the attic needlework for summer school. I know, summer school in Mesa, Arizona. Yeah, 110 if we're lucky. but I'm so looking forward to it. My girlfriend Sarah and I are going to be having a good time, and we'll see Janine there and a whole bunch of other people. It'll be such a good time. So I'm not quite sure I'll have it done before then, but I'm going to give it the old college try. And then I think what the next designated stitch is going to be is Teresa Kogut's Land That I Love, because I have a dream that it'll be done by July for the 250th birthday celebration. Yeah. So that is what I am going to aim for my next designated stitch. Now, let's see. This week I did a little bit of stitching on beach rat. Yesterday I went to the maker's cottage, Cheryl, and it was Cheryl invited myself, Audrey from Stitchy Witch, and Janine from Acorns and Threads for a stitch day, and it was mostly a laugh day. I mean, I maybe got 10 stitches in. Well, I'm working on Beach Rat, which is the artsy housewife. If you've ever been pooped by one of these seagulls, you definitely have to do a cross stitch about them. So, you know, I literally maybe did 10 stitches while I was there because I was laughing too hard. I mean, it was, yeah. I think we were stitching in her stitching spot number 3, I think. Yeah, that woman has lots of stitching spots, but I think it was number 3. Yeah. And it was so nice to see Audrey out and about. Let's see here. Okay, so currently today I brought out my Sunshine Stitchers. Put a bird on it, Sal. Here's the thing. I look at Sal's as Startalongs, not as Stitch-alongs. If I were to choose to look at it as a stitch-along, I would constantly be berating myself because I really don't have a life pattern that can keep up on a stitch-along. And I don't want any stress in my stitching. Now, some people, when they do stitch-along, it's actually a beautiful thing and it gives them so much encouragement and they feel so much better about themselves. Not me. Yeah, not me. I'm the person who's crash studying for a final the night before. So this is a start along. I absolutely love it though. And so here is that pattern. And I got this at Acorns and Threads. I am using Oxide by Mrs. Sadis, and so right now I'm stitching right over here. And my plan is still to stitch all the way around and leave the big thing in the center for the end, because then I'll be motivated. So I did a little stitching on that. Okay, I don't know if you knew, but it's Stitch Roadie anniversary this week. This week I will have done Stitch Roadies for 6 years. I'm like shocked. I can still remember, and I was talking to the girls yesterday at the Maker's Cottage, that I can still remember the very first time I ever heard the word floss tube. My friend Marion had taken me to Acorns and Threads for the first time, and in the middle. It was before Janine had the classroom space, so the table was in the middle of the shop, and maybe sat maybe 10 people. And Marion was telling me about floss tube, and that this is, this floss tube, and this person is this floss tube. And I was like, I was dumbfounded, because in quilting, which I had done for years, there wasn't that same type of connection as there is with cross stitch. And it just opened a world. And here I am, and I'm loving every minute, and I'm having the best time. And now I own a lot of cross stitch patterns. I now have to have a binder just for the artsy housewife. Yeah. But 6 years later now, we're at the Stitch Roadie anniversary. And so I am going to present to you 2 fabulous giveaways. The only thing I ask is that you subscribe to the channel. And even if you think you're subscribed, double check. Because I do check when I do the giveaways if the person is subscribed or not. I think that's a give and take. You know that I have been working on this, my Smalls exchange for the Pacific Northwest Stitch Summit. And I pulled it out of this book, which is a book that I think everyone should own. Everyone should own this book. It is not only, it is filled with beautiful charts, but it has fabulous motifs and alphabets, and is such an easy book to read. And so I chose, as I showed you last time, this, that pattern right there, which is plant trees. The true meaning of life is plant trees under whose shade you do not expect to sit. Such a lovely sentiment. And so I am making a drum out of it. So I finished the stitching. I have got it in a circular fashion, and now I am working on doing the final finishing. I have watched videos. I don't learn that way. It's a really hard thing for me. But my friend Julie kind of gave me a little bit of a heads up on how to do it. I tend to fly by the seat of my pants, so we'll see if I can pull this off. But here it is. There's that beautiful tree. And then I put Pacific Northwest Stitch Summit in 2025. And I just have to show you this. They pulled that tree out and just stitched that and framed it. So pretty. So in honor of the anniversary, 6th anniversary of Stitch Roadies, a copy of this will be sent to one of you who is a subscriber, and also subscribe to the Acorns and Threads newsletter, because you're going to want to know when everything is happening. And the registration for the beach retreat was today. Yes, I filled out my form. I couldn't fill it out fast enough. But all you have to do is to subscribe to this channel, sign up for the newsletter at Acorns and Threads, and in the comments put stitches in red. Stitches in red. And one of you is going to get a copy sent directly to you. I know one of you is going to be really happy, because this book is like my favorite. It's absolutely such an easy to read, easy to stitch off book. The other giveaway that I have for you is from the Fat Quarter Shop. They were so generous and kind enough to also celebrate Stitch Roadie anniversary with me, and they are offering one of you a $50 gift card to the Fat Quarter Shop, for anything. It can be cross stitch, it can be quilting, it can be notions, anything in there that you want. So in order to be in the running for that one, be sure you sign up for the newsletter at Fat Quarter Shop, be a subscriber to this channel, and in the comments, let's say Stitch Roadie Anniversary. Stitch Roadie Anniversary. Yeah. It's a celebration. It's a party. It's an absolute party. I am been going. And when I was looking for something else, yeah, I was looking for something else. I'm always looking for something. Hence, I found that tile with a bee on it. Did I show it to you already? I know I did, but I can't. It is absolutely adorable. And I have it hanging in my laundry room. It's so cute. Absolutely the cutest. Well, when I was looking for something, I was probably looking for my father-in-law's blue ribbons. I found, we all have those little piles of cross stitches that are done that we haven't quite done anything to. And so I did a fully finish. This was C is for coffee. And didn't it turn out cute? So here's the thing. This frame thing here, was actually not a frame. It was a decor item at the craft store, and I believe it was at Michael's. And so underneath this cross stitch is like I think it's some kind of Halloween picture. And so I popped the picture out, and I used it as the base of my for my cross stitch. I put on my cross stitch SF101 fusible to give it some stability. Then I cut out a piece of batting and put that against. And then I did a running stitch around the piece here and pulled it like a drawstring to make it tight. And then I stitched it cross, cross, cross. And now I'm going to, I didn't do it yet because I wanted to show you how I did it, but I'm going to put a piece of cardboard and glue it and then put a label on it because this is going to be a gift. But I love how it turned out, and it was so simple. And I know for a fact that I probably got this framed thing on a 50% off post-Halloween sale, because I found a whole bag of finishing items. Yeah. That's the thing. Okay, so we are signed up for the beach retreat. You can go on the waiting list. Something always happens, and the waiting list opens up, and you can come play with us next year. The Oregon coast is by far the most beautiful stretch of beaches, coastline. And at this particular event, we get s'mores. Yes, please. So it's going to be nothing but a great time. So just put yourself on the waiting list there. Let's see, anything else? Coasters, yes. Designated stitch, did that. Yes. Be sure you go over to a Maker's Life, because I heard through the grapevine yesterday that Cheryl was going to do a giveaway. So you might want to go check that out. Yeah. Okay, now I'm going to get back to stitching. I think what I'm going to continue on with is this one here. And if I didn't already tell you, which I know I already told you, but I'm going to tell you again, I love this thing, which is the holder for uh, pre-threaded needles. Since it's all a one thread project, I don't have to have a whole bunch of different figured out. They're all going to be the same color. Yeah, and now it's countdown to heading to summer school at the attic, and then after that it's the Pacific Northwest Stitch Summit. Yes, please. All the things. Yeah, all the great things. So don't forget to put your name down for the giveaways and to go check out A Maker's Life. And we will see you probably when I get back from Phoenix, Arizona. Yeah. You take care. I love you guys.